This is not clickbait. This video will actually break your brain. I'm going to explain the math behind some of the most difficult techniques in motorsports, keeping a race car at the limit without sliding or spinning. If you understand this concept, it gets way easier to practice and master oversteer cars. Let's start with what makes the car go fast. Lateral forces. They come from slip angle. They come from the tires sliding against the track. With no sliding, there's no turning. Literally, at the city, the tires are constantly sliding at a very tiny amount just to make the cars turn. And that's why when you're parking your car in one of those buildings with a very smooth surface, you can hear the tires screeching with barely any turning. You're at 10 kilometers per hour, but if you turn the steering a lot, you can hear the tires screeching. That's actual slip angle happening. The difference is that the slip angle on a car at the city is 1 or 2 degrees max, while the slip angle on a race car can go from 5 to 10, maybe 15 degrees. If you want to understand more about the fundamentals of slip angle, you can watch this video. Now here's the crazy math part. There's a lot of people trying to save a spin and actually making it spin more. Or there's a lot of people trying to make the car turn more and they get into understeer. Let me say this again. I'm a professional racing coach. I worked with thousands of students, and a lot of people try to make the car turn more and get the opposite effect. And a lot of people try to not spin the car and end up spinning. And here's why. For this explanation, I'm going to use a few examples of slides, corrections, spins, and we're going to go through the slip angle math of all 4 tires in relation to the actual slide. So this is a spin. And as you can see here, we try to correct it, but we don't save it at all. The car completes the whole spin after. So let's pause at some point here. Right here. I'm getting to a spin. If you look a little bit closely, there is not a lot of steering right now. We're just inducing the slide right now. We're trail braking into the corner at high speed. Not a lot of brakes, probably like this is 10% brakes. High engine braking, the car is turning a lot. Let's take a look at this slip angle right now. So first of all, let's measure the slip angle of the whole car. The whole car is kind of going like this, but it's pointed this way. Let's assume that the slip angle here is 5 degrees. You know that the rear tires are connected to the whole platform. So the rear tires cannot turn. Therefore, 5 degrees at the rear tires means 5 degrees at the whole platform. It means 5 degrees at the whole car. Now, what is the slip angle on the front tire? Well, that depends on the steering. If we are not steering at all, then the slip angle on the front tires is also 5, because the front tires are also part of the car. But let's say we steer 5 more degrees. In this case, just for the sake of the explanation, let's assume that the steering ratio is 1:1, which means 5 degrees of steering equals 5 degrees of turning in the actual tire. In this case, if we steer 5 degrees, we get 10 degrees of slip angle right now. So what I'm telling you right now, if the car is sliding 5 degrees, but you're turning 5 degrees, you're actually abusing more the front tires. This is why, in this situation, if you were to turn the steering a lot more, you would get 5 from the slide of the rear tires, plus, let's say, I don't know, let's say you crank the steering all the way to the left, 40 degrees of steering, that is 45 degrees of slip angle. But the optimal slip angle on a slick tire is around 5. So if you're forcing the front tires this much, then you will actually abuse the front tires and you will lose rotation. You will burn the front tires and the car will go straight. So in this case, we already have engine braking, we are trail braking, so we're getting more weight to the front tires. If you actually just stay on this steering level, you will get more rotation with 0 steering. Right now, after the car starts the slide, 0 degrees of steering will make it turn the most. Now let's see what happens a little bit after. I don't turn in this example, not at all. I stay with the steering completely straight up to this point, still straight, and I'm gaining rotation. Look at that. The steering is still straight. You can see here the tire is not turning at all. And at this point, I could still crank the steering to the left and maybe save it. But for the sake of this example, I waited until I got into the point of no return. Now let's get into this slide right now. This frame here is perfect. If you look at the slip angle of the rear tires, now this is pretty big. We are sliding, I don't know, let's call it 50, let's call it 20 degrees. We're sliding 20 degrees on the rear tires, which is way higher than the optimal 5, right? Way higher than what we wanted. We wanted 5 to get the most forces. So at this point, with 20 degrees of sliding, we are not creating good lateral forces with the rear tires anymore. Now the tires are starting to struggle. They're starting to slide more and more and more. And the arrow of cornering forces that we're getting from the tire is getting smaller and smaller. We're starting to rotate less. This tire is going to resist less the rotation, and it will want to go outwards. What about the front tires? Let's look at the front tires right now at this exact moment. The car is going this way. It's sliding more or less this way. Let's put an arrow right here. This is the direction of the car. This is the direction the car is pointing, which gives us the 20 degrees of the rear tires. But the front tires are counter steering a little bit. We are turning, for the sake of the explanation, 15 degrees to the right. So we are turning 15 degrees to the right now with the steering. But if you look at the direction of this tire only, you can see that it's still pointing slightly inwards. Why is that? Because the final slip angle of the front tires will be the slip angle of the rear tires plus the steering. So let's do that calculation. 20 degrees on the rear, which equals the whole platform, which the front tires are part of, plus minus 15, because we are turning to the opposite side. So 20 minus 15 equals 5 degrees of slip angle, which is precisely the optimal slip angle of this slick tire. So right now, even though we are counter steering, the car is generating a lot of forces to the inside because the final angle of the front tire is still more to the inside than the actual direction of the car. So we are still creating way more forces to the inside at this point than the rear tires are trying to resist. And because of that, we are making the slide worse. And if we advance a little bit more here, you can see that the car is still going more to the inside. I completely get at this point in full steering lock. And right now we advanced a few more frames. We can do that calculation again. Let's say right now the car is sliding 40 degrees. But the front tires are full lock at 30 degrees. These are just an example. I'm not really sure what exactly is the full steering lock of this specific Ferrari. I just want to show you that even with full lock, the front tires are still pointing 10 degrees to the inside compared to the actual direction of the car, which will make the slide only worse. Now let's play this whole thing so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. We are getting into the slide, still no steering, generating more forces to the inside, trying to correct, but it's too late. Too late. The overall sum of the angle, even with the correction, is still more to the inside than the direction of the car. And then at this point, the car even tries to solve a little bit, but again, look at this, look at this. The front tires are still pointing to the inside compared to the direction of the car, and we get into a spin. And by the way, this is why people who try to drive too smoothly and try to correct the car very slowly because they're afraid of, abusing the car, end up spinning way more. Because if you're trying to be gentle with the correction, then your steering angle never catches up to the angle of the slide and you just make yourself spin faster. That's why I tell all the time, corrections should be quick so that you catch the slide before the slide gets worse and then you get back to your plan. And at this point right now, even better example, you can see here that the front tires are pointing this way, the rear tires are trying to point this way. So that means this tire is sliding way more, and the further away from the optimal slip angle, the less grip we have. There is no return in this situation. We are going to get in a full spin. Now let's go to a different example. In this example, I'm going to try the opposite. I'm going to steer into the slide to show you the opposite side of this math. We are getting to a slide right now. Perfect. I'm gonna pause here. We have straight steering. We have 5 degrees right here, and we have 5 degrees here on the front because we are not steering. If the steering angle is 0 degrees, then the slip angle of the front tires equals the slip angle of the rear tires. In this case, if I wanted to save the car with the steering, There's other ways of saving the car with the brake release, and I talk about that in other videos, but for now, let's only use the steering. Let's say I have 5 degrees of slip angle, 5 degrees of slip angle. How much do I need to turn to the left to save this slide? Well, anything higher than 5 degrees. If I turn, say, 6 degrees to the left, then I'm gonna get a slip angle that is opposite to the rear, and I'm gonna create the rotation against the slide, and I'm gonna save it. But let's say I don't do it. I get into a bigger slide, bigger slide, bigger slide because I didn't turn. Now I'm gonna do something a little bit weird. I'm actually gonna turn into the slide. Let's look at that. I'm gonna start turning more. Now look at the front tires. I'm turning more, 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 even more, even more. All right, let's take a break right here. Now we are sliding, let's say 15 degrees on the rear tires, and the front tires is 15 degrees plus the steering. In this case, it's a positive number because I am turning into the slide. So let's say I'm turning 30 degrees. If I'm turning 30 degrees right now, the slip angle on the front tires is 45, which is way higher than the optimal 5 degrees that we needed to extract the most lateral forces from this specific tire. In this case, because I'm so far away from the 5 degrees, this tire is gonna have less grip than this tire that is only at 15. Because of that, the cornering forces arrows on the rear tires would be way bigger than the cornering force that we are creating on the front tires, because we are now officially abusing the front tire way more than the rear. Because of that, we will overheat this tire way more, and eventually we are going to lose that grip, making the car lose the slide. As you can see, as soon as I turn more the car, I'm gonna start losing rotation because I'm abusing and destroying and burning the front tires more. That's the weird thing. If I try to turn more into the slide and abuse the front tires more than the rears, I get less rotation. If I try to save the car but I accidentally keep the front tires on the optimal slip angle by making that subtraction between the slide angle and the counter steering that is too small, I will make the slide even worse and the car will spin super quickly. Here's the onboard example of me turning into the slide. You can see that the rotation dies out as soon as I add more steering. I was exiting the pits here with cold tires, so the car is sliding way more than it would if it had optimal temperatures. This is just for the example. The same thing would happen in any car, even with good optimal temperatures. And that brings us back to the examples of people trying to rotate the car or trying to spin the car by turning the steering a lot, getting way over the slip angle on the front tires and having this happen. You can immediately see that as soon as you turn more, here we can see the car kind of pivoting. This camera is amazing because it takes into account the yaw rate of the car. As soon as I turn more the steering, the car loses that rotation. That's it. And then I can turn again and get even more understeer. So it's funny, right? As soon as I stop turning, the car kind of turns more. And then when I turn way too much, the car turns less. It's all about keeping the front tires on the optimal slip angle. Now in the example where I'm trying to spin on purpose, you will see that I actually don't add any steering after the slide starts. Look at this. I start turning, I add brakes. Now I'm gonna relax my hands a tiny bit. I'm keeping the front tires on the optimal slip angle. Oh, as I'm gaining the slide, I'm actually decreasing the steering with the objective of adding rotation. I'm decreasing the steering to make the spin happen more quickly. I'm decreasing the steering a little bit more. I'm decreasing the steering a little bit more. I'm decreasing the steering a little bit more. Very subtly. And now that's it. Now I can even try to make a correction, but that's too late. The car is already over the point of no return, where the steering lock is still a lower number than the actual current slide of the car. You see that I'm talking about a current slide that has already started. If you want to learn how to start a slide and how to get the car to rotate more, which by the way, you should at this point already realize it's not with a lot of steering. It's proper brake release as you turn just a tiny bit and get the car to initiate that slide with a little bit of steering. There's a whole video where I teach a top 1% driver learn how to spin on purpose. Yeah, he was top 1% and he still didn't know how to spin the car on purpose. This video has over 700,000 views I think right now, and you can watch it right here. This is just a tiny fraction of motorsports. There's so many concepts, there's so many things you need to learn in order to properly drive rather than just driving blindly lap after lap and trying to magically get faster. And let me tell you something, all these fast drivers, they know all this tiny stuff. They go and study all the details because everything helps when you're looking for tenths and eventually hundredths of a second. So if you do want to get better, as the founder of the Almeida Racing Academy, I strongly recommend that you try us out. Our level 1 courses are for free and we have a winter discount code right now. Code WINTER will get you our full access membership for $25 a month. There's a lot of stuff inside this membership. I teach you racecraft, car handling techniques to such a high detail, ranging from beginner to intermediate all the way to the high level stuff. And we also have weekly races, weekly workshops, weekly practice sessions where you can fight for position with no hard feelings and practice your racecraft with everyone, including myself and our expert coaches of the Academy, Kane Halliburton and Connor Bell. If you like this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I'm going to be posting way more very soon. See ya.